talking about men's health today, or men's mental health. So I heard a statistic today that 1 in 8 men suffer from mental health, whether that's depression, anxiety, OCD. We mask it, and it's kind of makes me want to talk about it and be open about it. I've had a look at some figures, and even that's so eye-opening, which we're never aware of. In the UK, 3 times more men than women commit suicide. There were a study showing that in 2018, under the age of 24, that suicide was the most for deaths in that age group, under 24. That only in terms of seeking help through psychology therapies, only 36% of men actually seek help. Which, again, if we're not talking about mental health, if we're not being open and leading from the front to be able to talk about mental health, how are we ever going to change those statistics? Also, another one, that 87% of people living on the streets, are men. And that as men, we disguise or we turn to alcohol and drugs to mask as mental health. And that traditionally, as men, we're not supposed to talk about as feelings. We have expectations that we've got to be one of the lads, and we don't suffer those health issues, that we're all okay and everything's going to be fine and we'll go and have a laugh. But I want you to have a look at your close friends. Maybe this is you. Maybe you're very irritable. You have sudden anger issues. You lose control. You have aggression, you risk taking. These are all signs in our friends, or maybe we can look at within ourselves, and that's us. The only solution is to talk openly about it. How do we change that when traditionally, as in gender, that we don't, as men, we don't go to the pub and talk about as mental health issues. Whenever that is brought up, traditional thoughts in men say that we shouldn't be able to discuss it, that we're being pansies, or we're being soft, when we're humans and we all have our own childhood, adulthood traumas, which define how we actually act, define how we actually think. And if through them traumas we realise that those around us don't love us, then we're not going to love ourselves, which means that we're not going to like the life we live. And I say that, and I'm in my own life, it's took me a very long time to discuss openly how I felt, how I've always felt alone, that I always felt like I was not good enough, and that at times it's rubbish living life, and only by understanding it only by talking about it and letting others around me to actually talk to me with their health issues and what they've done, did I start to look and deal with my own issues of my own mental health. It's we've got to be more aware around us, especially with us friends, especially those who are very loud and very chatty and seem a soul of a party. And it's a case of, don't get me wrong, there's people like that who genuinely are happy and loving life. But for a lot of people, for a lot of men, it can be disguising. Is in a few days' time you pick up your phone and like, no, we're staying in, I'm not doing no, it's, I feel this, I feel that. Are we encouraging our fellow friends, our fellow men to talk openly about it? Are we talking openly about ours? We don't have to start off talking about it in a group, but we can talk about it in one-on-one. We can just say, how you doing today? How's your mental health? Just by allowing them to talk, allowing ourselves to talk when we're asked that question, as much as we're fighting our inner voice telling us we shouldn't be because they will look at us that we're soft and that we're not really a man, we should be able to just express it, because that gives the platform for them to be able to express theirs. So there's a few steps. Listening, asking openly how they feel. If it's us, if it's you who's feeling this, then you reaching out to somebody you trust, who you feel comfortable to talk to. It's amazing what conversations can arise from being honest and open about how we feel, because then we feel like we have to replicate it. We want to replicate it. Stay in touch with those friends. Them statistics, them facts are so worrying. We should be more active. We should be knocking down the barriers of our traditional thinking in men's groups. We should be okay to say we're not okay. So talk. And be the first one in your group, be the first one in your close friends to open up. Because that way then we can start creating momentum in opening up and talking about it. We can have those times when we're at the pub and having fun, but then we can have the times when it's time to talk about how we feel, how we think. Get active. As a man, be active in yourself. It's very much a battle in mentality, and I've battled that myself, and took me a very long time to just stop making excuses, stop listening to my ditch voice which tells me to not put any work in, to give up because I'm not good enough and it's too hard, and it's easy just to go do the same thing I do every day. But by me deciding to just make a little step and go for a walk, go for a run, I got back feeling good about that. And the next day was the same mindset, the same problem. My ditch voice telling me I did it yesterday, we'll leave it today, feel a bit achy, you feel this. Let's stay in, it's cold, it's wet, it's sunny, it's fine outside. As ditch voice will tell us to do anything, and that in how we feel. So we've got to just take that step and get active, and maybe even join a group of men doing something you like. Is a great way to start, is to do something you're good at. What are you good at? Maybe that's a way to keep active. Food plays a major part in it. And I'm not going to go too deep in food, but definitely a more healthier diet and less fried food, less processed food, because that in itself slows down our own metabolism. It slows down our own activeness within ourselves. We feel lethargic and tired. By eating plenty more fruit, plenty more veg, watching what we're eating and limiting what we eat can change his mood, because if we eat in the right nutrients, as body's functioning right, so then we be able to have a lot more strength to overcome our ditch voice. Drink plenty of water. You know, if most people will probably turn up the nose, most men will turn up the nose. Those who exercise regular likely to agree, but drinking water, you know, don't drink as much fizzy pop, and drink a little bit more water in between, even if it's just getting a glass and decking one a few times a day in between what you normally drink. That's a great start. Keeps you refreshed. We are majority made up of water, so keeping as fluids going in his body allows us to keep that energy going. I think a great way for men, great way for anybody, but what worked for me as well is gratitude, is being thankful. And I mean, when we say gratitude, when we say, you know, be grateful for what you've got, how does that even look? You know, we can tell, we can say just be grateful in the morning, be grateful on the night, but how do we put that into practice? How do we wake up when we're feeling low, when we're feeling down, to be able to change his mindset and think about good things? Because it's not easy. It's very hard to do. What I started doing at first was just writing it down on any piece of paper I could find. You know, getting up, feeling, you know, going through normal routine, and I just have pen and paper just lying around, you know, in my kitchen, in my bedroom, and I just started writing, you know, what I'm grateful for, and it were the simplest things, you know, getting up this morning. I know you probably hear this or read this and heard people say it, but, you know, the fact of just being up and breathing and healthy were a way in which I started my gratitude off. And when I started advancing on that and being grateful for my bed, being grateful for being there, you know, and I built up, and on a night, I would do the same, you know, and as that became more of a routine of just writing the little things I was grateful for, in time it actually changed my own mindset. It made me start adding to what I'm grateful for yesterday's day. Those little wins we have, you know, a little bit of help, and I started expanding and just writing, and it was just scribbles. I was saying it in my head. It didn't really matter what I'd written. And then it went on from there, and I started waking up and laying there for 5 minutes just thinking of my gratitude, you know, saying it over and over again in my head. So, you know, through repetition, through doing it every day, slowly changed me to be actually, in the morning especially, is go through the day with a good start of what you've got, what you're grateful for. I advanced into meditation because from there I realised that my mind was very scatty, and having a scatty mind left me to listen more to my ditch voice. That voice tells us that we're not good enough. So meditation allowed me to calm my mind and think about me and within me, and concentrate on me. And that's my meditation today, is being familiar with me, concentrating in my mind about myself, my body, having different chakras within the body and concentrating on those, just that 5 minutes in the morning. And then I followed it with my gratitude. And this, over 6 to 7 months, was my routine I did every day. I suppose, we just got to be open to accept that as men, it's okay to not be okay, and to say that. And we have to do away with judgment. And as much as I feel I've overcome so much in a men's group setting, I won't be the first to talk about emotions. I'd be the first to understand and actually listen to my friends, and then actually pull them to the side. But I won't, and through that engagement, by me listening, we build up a stronger friendship, and we'd be able to actually talk individually about our emotions. Because, if we brought it up in a group setting, we would be stigmatized with names. Our respect we will get from friends will probably go down a little bit. Some who were very who've gone through their own journey and come out the other end would have more respect. But listening to negative talk about us only drives our negative thinking. So listen to your friends, tell them that you'll always be there, and check in with them. Always stay in touch every few days to make sure that they're okay. Try and drive help by you helping them get help, by being a friend who can help, and having a man-on-man conversation makes that feel okay the more we do it through repetition. So we just need to get rid of the stigma of mental health for men, and we can only do that is if we as men start. We as men speak out. We as men be able to take action and drive the agenda to make it okay for the generations below us to be okay with that. And if we can do that, then we can change their lives too. So my mental health, my tips. I want you to stay true, stay honest, stay open and talk. This is my life, my journey, my startup. This is me.